This video is going to show you solo GM with the exotic SMG BARROW Dyad in its now final form, because all catalysts have dropped. We're going to choose Scarlet Keep as the end game activity to showcase this build off to you, being done solo. The surges this week are Arc Surge, Void Surge, Arc Threat is on, champions are Barrier Unstoppable, Fire Pit, Chaff, etc. No Strand Surge, take note. There was no Strand Surge. That just goes to show the power of the build I'm showing to you. With Act 3, there was a bunch of new artifact mods that were launched. Let's go through the Strand mods. Unraveling Orbs is a 5% damage bonus to Strand weapons. It does other things, but it's given me 5% increased damage for the BARROW Dyad. Vile Weave, another Strand. It's all about severing. These Strand mods are all about sever and tangles. So Vile Weave, Elemental Siphon's good for more tangles. Horde Shuttles for more threadlings. And finally, to Shreds it gives you 10% damage to super bonus secret, and it also does unraveling projectiles deals increased damage. These deal further increased damage to server targets. I believe that's 10% as well. So when you're doing the unraveling, you're getting a 10% damage, but there's a 10% damage bonus to super as well, I'm led to believe. Other artifact mods, we use Blast, that always goes on because she's stunning champs. Flashover's good still. Dreadful Finisher needs to go on for special ammo. One minor thing I should have done is took this off and put Gold from Lead on. The reason why is because I forgot to unequip this. In my previous run, I was using a rocket and should have unequipped this and put Gold from Lead on, but that's fine. It's alright. I'm just pointing it out. Okay, so with BARROW Dyad itself, we're using Taken of Ambition. With Target Lock, this is the single target damage variant. The other version, this is what you want to do when you've crafted BARROW Dyad fully, is craft a second one with Taken of Resolution and One for All. I haven't done that yet. I've got high impact reserves, but I will be changing this to One for All. And we'll do a solo GM with the One for All version, and we'll compare it slightly to the Target Lock version. But in this video, for science, we're doing the Target Lock version. Barrier rounds for our sidearm for champs. Pro Memoria because it's Strand and it synergizes with my build. This is what we're going to talk about. So we're pairing BARROW Dyad with Spirit of Scars class item. This gives restoration on kill. Spirit of Inmost Light is the next trait I've got it with. Now, you want Spirit of Scars because it's better than Precious Scars, and I'm going to tell you why it is. Precious Scars, the only difference between the two is that Precious Scars gives you an overshield on revive. If you are solo, you cannot revive yourself. Therefore, it loses potency when you're on Prismatic. You may as well just use Spirit of Scar because you get an extra free perk. That's the difference between the two. They both give restoration. They both give the 3-4 second restoration, both of them. So, you may as well use Spirit of Scars if you're on Prismatic. You may as well. Spirit of Inmost Light, very good for neutral gameplay also. Here's the mods on screen. There'll be a dim link anyways, so you've got that. But yeah, that's explained the artifact mods. Let's go on to this. So remember the keywords. Sever and Tangles. Blade Fury needs to go on for Spirit of Scars to work with BARROW Dyad. Rally Barricade, Frenzy Blade. Shackle Grenade goes on for Unstoppable Champions. Consecration and Drenger's Lash. I'm using Drenger's Lash instead to try and synergize that with BARROW Dyad. I know that you're going to say just do that. But the video is not about knockout. It's not about Prismatic Titan in that way. It's about showing BARROW Dyad in the best possible light. So I want to use Drenger's Lash instead. Because if we go knockout, we will just kill everything with Consecration. I don't want to do that. I want to try and showcase off BARROW Dyad in endgame. This is the big one, look. It severs targets. So put that on when you're using BARROW Dyad. This helps with the build. Facet of Purpose for Woven Mail. Facet of Protection for Resistance, Facet of Dawn for Barrier Rounds, and 20% damage bonus to weapons, Facet of Ruin to enhance Consecration a little bit, and the final one, Facet of Blessing is a substitute for Knockout. You get average on melee kills. It's maybe not quite as good as Knockout, but it's a substitute. It's a substitute fragment. Because remember, I want to showcase BARROW Dyad off for you. So it's not just, don't tell me just to do that, because we're not doing that. We're doing BARROW Dyad stuff. Okay, so that's the information on that. One last thing I want to touch on. Gift from Bungie looks pretty good. What do you think about it? Can't tell you too much about it, but this emblem looks really good. What do you think about it? But yeah, that was the build information on BARROW Dyad. Okay, so in this room we're going to evaluate how Barrow Dyad performs against champs, add clear, tangles, sever, damage. Is it good with target lock? Would I have been better with one for all? Those are not simple questions, but let's see if the video can answer some of them in some meaningful way. You can skip the first barrier champ, but I'm not going to, because this video is for science, isn't it? So I don't see any point in skipping anything really. Most things, especially champs. So look, we get restoration there, and I believe it can be refreshed. I believe so. Let's just see how the run goes. So we're going to get rid of the barrier, the snipers left and right. This guy here, those are the most threat in the starting section. That's it. We've got a shackle to use. Let's use our consecration for radiant, so we get barrier rounds. We'll even do our Drenger's Lash melee. Have we still got barrier? No, probably not. Radiant runs out. It's 5 seconds, remember. There'll be times when I break them. Let's see the damage. So target locks proccing ×3 ×2. Yeah, so it's working out half decent against single target damage. Well, more than half decent, actually. It's one of the best exotic primaries in the game. I've underplayed it there a minute. So, this little section with the wizard and things, we're just going to zoom past. I did say we're not going to skip any champs, but, you know, little bits like this we will just zoom past. Yeah, because we want to get on with the run. That's simply it. I'm going to pop a Transcendence here. Yep. Let's pop a Transcendence, get a good shackle down. And then we'll do a consecration. Then we'll do our Drenger's Lash. I believe it misses, but we get our shield break with Barrow Dyad. Good damage for the shield break. We'll do another consecration because there's some adds behind me pushing. So there we go. This, you know, you've got to use your common sense. We're not going to use Barrow Dyad for every single thing that we do. It's going to be a part of the build because it's a Barrow Dyad build, which that consists of Strand elements to it. So we're going to be doing a lot of shackles and stuff like that. You know, but it's not just a case of, oh, let's just use Barrow Dyad for 100% of the run for every single thing. That's just not how we play the game. We don't play it like that. Yeah, so we've got to use common sense. Look at the Fredlings we're getting. Because of hard shuttle. That's because of hard shuttle. So with the panic response, you want to reload at full bar. Yeah. Don't reload when you don't want to. I'm going to use a super here, though, because we want to get rid of the wizard. This is also another thing that, you know, on a general run, I wouldn't just use my primary. I would use a super here. We're on a low cooldown super, so you use them. Don't not use them. Definitely use them. But just look at how comfortable I am in a GM environment with Barrow Dyad, which, by the way, exotic SMGs, well, not just exotics, but all SMGs, suffer slightly in solo GM environment if that GM is what's known as a long-range engagement GM. And Scarlet Keep is a long-range GM for half of it, and the other half is CQC. So you will see Barrow Dyad perform phenomenal at the CQC, close quarter combat sections, but when we get to the bridge sections, Barrow Dyad will suffer. Not because of Barrow Dyad, it's just because it's an SMG and it will not kill enemies at 50 meters, but they're not meant to, though, are they? But because I'm solo GM, I am having to kill some adds at 50 meters. I'll point that out when that happens. So, we're dealing with the barrier champ. We got our dunk before, and then we kill the champ. That's just how we do it. I always dunk left first. Left's the harder dunk, so I do left first. Just because on the second dunk, there's Curse for All, isn't there? Well, they can explode on you as you dunk. Because we're not messing around with these dunks, by the way. We're getting the dunk as soon as. And then we kill the champ afterwards. Okay, this knight, we want to kill him. Because even if you skip him, he annoys us later on. So we're going to use a bit of LMG, bait and switch. Get a finisher kill to replenish. I will do plenty of special finishes to replenish my rocket sidearm. Because that's dead important for barrier rounds, isn't it? Use a consecration slam here. We'll try and Drenger's Lash this wizard. We have, in a sense. Look at the damage it's doing, pretty good. We want to get finisher. Doing nice damage with the target lock so far. So far, I will give it for damage, if I'm being truthful, 9 out of 10 on single target damage in GMs. 9 out of 10. That's what I'm giving it for single target damage. If it's within range. If it's out of range, it's no good. But you can't rate it. You can't say, oh, the SMG is no good at 50 meters. Well, no SMGs are. There's not one single SMG in this game that can shoot 50 meters and have no range drop off. There's none. That's just how Destiny 2 works with its weapons. Yeah. I'm just saying that, like, look, we're starting to come to the long-range engagements. We're not yet. We're all right so far. Look at the shackle that we do here. Really good. Drenger's Lash if we can get... Ah, it's unfortunate. But we still get the shield break in time. Panic response, reload, boom. From... Oh, that's one thing that I've actually sort of not explained. The blights seem to not have a much range drop-off. The panic response blights... They're not like a general SMG. It's like Malfeasance. This gun is like a Malfeasance, but for an SMG format. Right, so I'm going to pop a super here because Blade Fury stuns unstops. And we have not got an unstop weapon on. But we've got plenty of unstop in our kit. We've got Shackle. We've got Drenger's Lash. We've got our super. Yeah, we've got Transcendence with the nade. We've got lots of ways. So we push up. We play a little bit more aggressive push up. We're going to get a finisher kill on both these knights so we can pre-plan bricks. That's why special finish is so good. I know we've got gold from lead, and it is good, but because of the state of special weapons in this game and how important they are in the game, they're actually more important than heavy weapons. So although the heavy situation with lead from gold from lead is good, it's just crazy that even though it's good, special finish is still more important than it. Ideally, you want both of them on. But I'm just saying, if you really had to pick between the one or the other, I would tell you that Dreadful Finish is still more powerful than Gold from Lead, because special ammo economy is more important than heavy ammo economy, still now. In GMs at least, yeah. Dungeons are a little different. Dungeons, heavy ammo is more important. Like if you're using like Sleeper or Queen Breakers for solo DPS on a dungeon boss. Alright, well that's different, isn't it? But in GMs, because we've got Barrier Sidearm and Barrier Sniper, you want Dreadful Finisher. Because it's Barrier champs and you haven't to kill them all. So that's more important, isn't it? Having an upkeep of special ammo is more important than heavy ammo. In my case, I'm using the heavy weapon as a support weapon anyways. Which it done perfectly. It actually done really well, did Pro Memoria, at just giving me class ability energy back, because a strategist, and acting as a long-range scout rifle type thing. I'll explain it when we get to it. I know machine guns aren't a scout rifle, but we can save on barrier sidearm ammo at the bridge sections if we run an LMG. It also saves ammo on Shriekers. Although there's only 2 Shriekers, they really can be annoying in this, because we haven't got a bow on. I've said before, and I'll say it again, Scarlet keeps a bow GM. You're better off just running a bow most of the time. But you can make it work. You don't have to run a bow. I'm just saying that, like, look, I'm 60 meters, let's say 40 meters away. BARROW Dyad cannot help me here now, so I've got to entirely rely on my sidearm and LMG. And this barrier is starting to, yep, we can see what he's wanting to do. Look at that. Zoom into cover. We've just lost ammo because of that. Luckily, my ammo's not too low for it to be too much of a problem. Because if we did run out of special ammo, I would be in trouble here. And I would have to pop a super to get rid of this barrier champ. But as you pop super, the Shrieker will spawn. So you would have to kill the Shrieker with your super. I don't want to have it to come to that. But what I'm going to do instead is shackle the Shrieker. But this is a risky-ish move because I've got to hit that shackle. If I miss it, messed up. We don't miss it. I have not proc bait and switch, but that's fine because I just want to kill that Shrieker before the shackle goes away, and I do that. That was the only goal. There we go. Boom. This bit's fine now. But see how we've had to overcome a challenge because we did not have a bow on? Like Wish Ender or Lemonarch. We've had to overcome a challenge. But you can overcome them. That's fine. It wasn't too much of a problem to the run. Okay, so Barrier Champ's still alive because obviously he pushed back. He pushed back because I killed a lot of the Acolytes. See, Barrier Champ AI will adjust accordingly to how many ads are surrounding them. We get a good Drenger's Lash suspend on there. That's nice. What's also good is that you can have panic response be loaded for you as you keep shackling them back to back. So you could do a shackle, then a Drenger's Lash, and then in between that, your SMG will reload and you can do a panic response damage rotation against the champ. You've got to get used to using this weapon. There's a bit of a skill ceiling with BARROW Dyad. Somebody the other week there told me there was not a skill ceiling. There is. There definitely is. Timing your panic response reloads in combination with a 5-second radiant timer is a little bit of a skill ceiling. So don't tell me that that's not the case, because it is. It definitely is. When I say skill ceiling, I don't mean it in the truest sense. I just mean, alright, you need a few hours practice with the gun. Once you've got the practice with the gun, you're good. You just need that practice. I believe it's definitely better than Final Warning, because you got Final Warning. I think this weapon's better than Final Warning. I've seen videos, and BARROW Dyad is putting out more damage than Final Warning, and they're similar weapons. The difference is, though, BARROW Dyad versus Final Warning. BARROW Dyad's the easier weapon to use. Final Warning's too clunky, in my opinion. My opinion is just my opinion, though. If you're a Final Warning user, you can use it, and it puts out really good damage. And it's barriered intrinsic. So I'll do a Final Warning solo GM. I'm not going to neglect any weapons. I can do a Final Warning build. Nothing's stopping it. But I'm just saying my personal preference, my playstyle suits the SMG a little bit better. Right, capping the zone. We'll do a Drenger's Lash here. That's good. So we've done our shackle, then Drenger's Lash. Just look at the amount of damage that we're putting in. Panic response reload. Look at that. We have to back up the damage. That's what I'm on about with the panic response blights. They're not affected by range drop-off, which is really nice for this. Okay, we've got a super to pop. I was going to pop it on the first wizard, but I was like, you know what, I don't need to. First wizard's easy anyways. The second and third wizard aren't as easy, so I may as well pop a super. And it's a Bane. Bane wizards have more health. All Bane enemies have 35% more HP. So being able to super a Bane wizard's actually quite handy, rather than the non-Bane wizard. Yeah, it's strategy, this. Look at the restoration that Spirit of Scars is providing me. This allows me to showcase this weapon in best possible light. Let's pay attention. Panic response. Boom, look at that bar. Then we get a reload. That's good damage, people. If an exotic primary can do a third of a bar of HP to a boss with no surge active for that weapon, this then means that the weapon has probably passed the test for GM weapon. It's passed the test. That's my little test. If an exotic primary can do a third to half HP on one stun of a barrier champ, it has passed the test to be usable, more than usable. It's more than usable. However, say an exotic primary only does 15% of damage, yeah, to a champ. That's when the exotic primary I know will lag. Let's give you an example. The exotic scout rifle, the arc one. What's the name of it? Trying to think of the name of it. I'm not sure. The one that does the arc blight things. Yeah, well, that exotic scout rifle, it doesn't hit hard enough. Yeah. Wicked Implement's another one. It doesn't do enough damage against champs. So guns like that don't do quite enough damage to champs, they lose points for me. Although they might be half decent on ad clear, that's not enough. It's not enough in solo GM. It's not enough. You want that good ad clear and good single target damage. Well, BARROW Dyad does that for you. But BARROW Dyad is at the mercy of the GM. If it's a very CQC GM, damn, put on BARROW Dyad. And if you want to pair it with Spirit of Scars, you're going to get restoration. This allows you to back-to-back get kills while getting restored. Now, we kind of messed up here with our timing. That's what I was on about. Skill gap. Skill gap with BARROW Dyad. You've got to really, moment to moment. You can't just say, oh, there's no skill gap with it. Well, yeah, there is. You need to play with the gun and get good with it. And reload timing and letting the weapon reload itself for those fraction of seconds to then get another bar of panic response and all that sort of stuff. You know, you've got to keep an interactive eye on your UI and stuff. So yeah, there is. But the payoff is fantastic because it's fun and it's Strand build. Strand builds have started to come more to the forefront since Act 3 because of all the new artifact mods that we are now getting. That we have now got. So I believe people are still leveling up the vendors. I still am as well. Once you get those new engravings, try out some Strand builds. The first one I would say is BARROW Dyad is the first one. And you can do, there's multiple BARROW Dyad builds. There's not just one King BARROW Dyad build. There's one on, there's one on each class. Right? But there's multiple on Prismatic. And there's some on pure Strand builds as well. So open your minds with it. There's many different ways that you can use this gun. And that's what makes a good exotic primary. Is when you can diversify it in a neutral way across multiple subclasses and multiple builds. None of it's wrong, probably. If you come up with a build and say to me, well, if you use Aberrant Leap, can I use it? I would say, yeah, you can use it. Just make sure you know the strengths of Aberrant Leap, though, and you don't just mess around with it. Same thing with Swarmers and a Warlock. You're going to say, well, can I use it? And I would say, yeah, you can use it. Use it on Prismatic, because you get Devour, though. Pure, this is one thing I will say criticism. Pure Strand Warlock is a little bit weak for me. So if I do BARROW Dyad on Warlock, it's Prismatic for me. However, Prismatic on a Hunter, Strand on a Hunter is really strong. Strand Hunter right now is really strong in the game. You'll know why. I don't need to tell you. You'll know why Strand Hunter is really strong. And it is. Strand Titan, really strong right now in the game. So you can pair it with BARROW Dyad as well and be successful somewhat. Somewhat you can be. This barrier is always super aggro, so shackling him's really nice. Let's look at the damage. Panic response. Boom, look at that damage. That's more than half. And we kill him before a second shield break. See? Within the correct range, the weapon performs as it should do and then some. In its proper range. This is where BARROW Dyad loses points now. Again, it's not BARROW Dyad's fault. Let's not blame the gun. You don't need to blame anyone. Just, it's long range engagements now. So we need to strategize that. So that's why I'm going to use a super here. A Transcendence. And hope we get some ammo drops. Because now I'm going to entirely focus on doing mainly rocket sidearm damage and LMG damage. Look at the shackle we get here. This is good. This is nice, though. That's actually quite nice. We got bait and switch to proc. We're getting sniped. I was a little worried about that. The snipers hit hard in this. I said this last time in Scarlet Cave, and I'll say it again. Even though Arc Threat is on, the Void Acolytes hit very hard. Look. I'm high power level, I'll remind you. You can be two-shot by Acolytes. So, look, this is where I'm having to hip fire... Not hip fire, but take my time to reset recoil on the LMG. Because if you don't know how recoil works in D2, you can sort of, when you're playing long range with an LMG, and if you just hold down the trigger, yeah, your recoil is going to go wildly. At 50 meters, trying to kill ads with machine guns is pretty hard. Well, to offset that, it's just to tap fire the LMG. Then the recoil pattern retains its original pattern. It goes back to center. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also trying to save a little bit of ammo as well, because I've got a couple of barrier champs to kill. And I want to get rid of these snipers. But I've got this damn Shrieker to take out. This is what took the run longer. This was... If I can criticise this run, it is the Shrieker parts. It slowed up the run. I would say it slowed up the run by about 6 minutes. At least. Because I'm messing around here. The ads are hiding, which Acolytes will. Yeah, and I'm wasting a little bit of ammo, getting a little thing about that. But, yeah, I'm going to push up. I'm going to try and get my shackle. I don't know if I hit or not. I do hit. That's a shame. Because now I'm losing damage on the shackle. Trying to activate bait and switch. I do, but I'm over-committing to damage. Look. Starting to overcommit to damage. Again, if I had an exotic bow on, we melt the Shrieker down. Don't we? But I can't. Because we're fighting too far away. So BARROW Dyad is pretty much non-factored on this. So we're going to try and do a bit more sidearm ammo and do some Shrieker manipulation. This closes and opens the Shrieker up without having to die to the Shrieker. Okay, so we're making it and forcing it to work right now. Rocket sidearm's my best bet right now. But again, I need to manage the ammo a little bit. But I've got special on the floor, so we're okay. Not too bad. Open trigger up. Boom, we're done. There we go. Okay, full back on special. We was never as bad as what I was making out. I'm going to pop a Transcendency, I think. Just because these ads are starting to aggro on me more than what I would have realised. So that's what we're going to do. Just control these ads a little bit. We've got a super for inside. If I want to use it. But ad behind us. Get rid of him. Heel clip. With the sidearms. Really nice. So you're surviving on all weapons, by the way, with this. Okay. We should have panic response quicker there. We actually messed up our rotation. We still get shield break though. Do a bait and switch rotation. I would like to have finished him, but that's fine. Boom, done. Okay. This is where we mess up because I think, right, let's just try and super the champ. But then I'm like, I haven't got Synthoceps on, so that's a con to this as well a little bit. I haven't got Synthoceps on, have I? So I can't one-cycle my champs. What I should have done there is dealt with the Acolytes first. I'm going to get Join Allies. You do, actually. That's actually good, though, because you reset the ads. Kind of funny. But yeah, that's fine. Most of the ads are killed, so we're alright. The super was pretty bad, though. That was my worst super pop of the run. For sure. Drenger's Lash here. Let's see what we can do. Boom. We've got Unraveling Rounds, don't forget, as well. So we still got Barrier. That's it. We get our shield break. Notice how we stepped our foot off the gas with the Barrier, with the SMG, to let it reload itself a little bit. It reloads itself. So in between shield breaks, if you want to sort of let your SMG reload to 35 and then you can do your panic reload, you know, that's nice as well. Okay, so that's now done. We're past all the Shrieker bits. Now everything's just going to be golden. My build's fantastic for all of this. Basically, all the elevator section, it's very good, and the final boss it is. We're going to do a mini exploit here where you use an emote, and how this works is that if your head box or your crit box is in a wall, the ads will ignore you. This probably needs fixed at some point. But a way to do that is to use this emote. This is the best emote to do it, by the way. The reason why it's the best one is because your head goes forward. The chair emotes have your crit box go backwards into a wall, which is nice, but having your guardian kneel, then your head go forward helps. So I'm going to play aggressive here, get a consecration on all these ads, and then do a Drenger's Last rotation. We get a panic response reload. I've not got barrier rounds, notice, but that's fine. We whip out the sidearm for that, and that's good. That's good that we pushed up here and was able to deal with the barrier and the acolytes immediately. Because if you don't do that, the barrier goes into mid. So we actually suppressed that champ. Not suppressed him in a void way, no. Suppressed him in a sense that we killed him before he went round that corner. Because he will. His AI directive for these barrier champs are to hug the wizard. If we stop them from hugging the wizard, we actually make this bit a lot easier. I'm surprised this barrier champ pushed. He doesn't. Drenger's Last missed there. I guess because of the stairs. The stairs caused Drenger's Last to miss. We want to melt this champ down, so we're not messing around. We use the machine gun in this case. And then wizard left. Now we can have fun. SMG, get barrier rounds. Get radiant. You can panic response at half as well. You don't have to commit to a panic response full reload every time. You know, if a target's weak, you can strategize it. So if a wizard's a third HP, you don't need to wait for the full bar. Wait for a half. I would recommend two ways. You know, to finish off Curse for All or minor ads, use half a bar of a panic response. But if a champ's full HP, yeah, you need to reload at full panic response. But I'm saying there's two slight different ways to use it. It's not always a case of, right, I need a full bar, I need a full bar. No. Full bar or half, depending on the situation, depending on if you're stressed. You might need to get a quick restoration kill, which that might not go with your goals of getting panic response full every time. What I will tell you is, though, you get panic response very quickly off single target damage with this build. So I still think this is going to be the way to go. And so far with the target lock procs, I mean, you tell me, what do you think? I think target lock performed brilliantly in this. I need to compare it to a one-for-all way of doing this, which I will. And it might have its benefits. There might be a way of doing it with Taken of Ambition and one for all, so that you get sort of single target damage, but one for all still procs. Because you can still use one for all on single target damage. It's not just as simple as saying one for all is an add clear perk. No, that's not exactly true, is it? Let's think about this logically. If you kill 3 adds or hit 3 adds with one for all, you're going to then have one for all 35% damage buff to hit a champ with for single target damage. So it's not as clean cut as what you would think about the one for all versus target lock debate. In GMs, it might be a little bit better to run one for all, but with the Taken of Ambition perk, not the other one. Because even though Taken of Resolution with the blights on 3 separate targets is nice, you get your panic response full bar anyways off red bars almost. So you may as well just run Taken of Ambition. So that's clear cut. What isn't exactly clear cut is the distinction between target lock and one for all. And I am suspicious that one for all might be a lot better than what we think. But that has to be showcased in a run. This runs target lock. This runs target lock. So look at this nice shackle we get on this wizard. We just need to get him finishable. That's what I'm doing. I don't want to kill him. Oh, I do kill him. That's fine. I guess because I've got enough special ammo on the floor. There's some special ammo behind me. This Acolyte's freaked out. He's went to the elevator. I don't know why. 27 minutes in. Again, the run's been really good apart from, as I say, the Shrieker sections. But it has been good. Let's get rid of this Acolyte. He's really freaking out. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, shoot the crystal. Then we're going to do our emote in middle. Just make sure that crit box is in the wall. There's another way of doing it, but this is better. You can do the Join Allies exploit, but I don't recommend that either because you don't need to. And there's a chance of death on joining. So the Join and Allies exploit is where you stand where the Acolytes are. That means you've got to kill them. So, rather than waste ammo, just do this. This is actually better than that. And it's quicker, because Join Allies takes time for you to get up to the lift. Whereas if you're already on the elevator, you're already there, you don't need Join Allies. Really simple, really straightforward, isn't it? Don't need to do it, just do this. It's actually much more simpler than the Join Allies situation. I've done both. I've done Join Allies loads of times. Right, we're going to get a shackle down, and I was seeing what I was wanting to do. Maybe a bit of LMG. Do a Consecration Slam here. I used my shackle and my barricade back to back, and that was a mistake slightly. So to use this properly, you want to shackle, then after the shackle runs out, you barricade. Yeah, so I've done it a little bit back to front. I was also wanting to finish this wizard, but I was like, what the hell, let's just kill him. It's fine, I'm going to have enough ammo for the run. Yeah, so we'll finish the first. He drops special anyways, so it makes no freaking odds. We get a barricade up, shackle the wizard, nice. We'll do a panic response. I don't want to kill. I was close to killing there. Okay, so now for boss damage and the boss run, how long is it? We do the boss fight relatively quick, 5 minutes. Okay, this run's decent then. It's a decent run. If you're doing this boss fight solo in 5 minutes, I mean, on a speedrun basis, people can do it in 2 minutes. Yeah, I know that, but we're not speedrunning, are we? We're testing out a weapon that's new in endgame. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's my goal. It's not to speedrun it, but I'm just commenting and saying this run wasn't half bad, the fact that we've done it in 5 minutes. I'm going to pop a Transcendency. It's always better to DPS your boss first, then do ad clear, because that spawns all the ads in at once. Therefore, you get more bang for your buck with your Transcendencies and your supers. But because I have not got a crit weapon on, like I did in my last run, you know, if you run a particle reconstruction trace linear, you will melt this boss down quickly. But I haven't got that on, so what I decided to do anyways is just clear them out with some Transcendence and then do a bait and switch rotation on the boss. We'll try and do the blights. Oh, it's doing half decent damage from here. This is actually a good place to stand as well when you want to seek refuge. This knight pushes. I'm going to try and kill him with Barrow. But I've got a good shackle there, so try and get rid of some of them. Don't let the knights knock you off. If they do push, you go into the corner. That's a golden rule for this. I don't want to be responsible for you dying here and getting knocked off map. Look at the barricade, though. Look at how good that was. Do a bait and switch rotation. Let's get rid of this Bane. Remember the tanky Banes. But yeah, he's weak. We want to get a tangle off him or something, really. Which will, because we're severing. We've been severing the entire time in this run. We build a panic response here. That's good that you can build it up off the boss like that. But yeah, target lock was proccing more. I felt like in the run that it wasn't proccing that much. But now that I watch it back, target lock was proccing quite a lot for us in the run. Yeah, but like I say, I am suspicious on One for All maybe being a bit better on BARROW Dyad builds for GMs. For dungeons, no. Dungeons, no, you want the target lock if you're going to try and do something with the gun that way. Because in dungeons, bosses are more important. Whereas in GMs, bosses are not as important. VIP targets are more important and champs. We use a super here on wizard phase because, well, the wizards are the most difficult part of this run. Well, not now because we've got a super. We get a shackle here. We'll use consecration. May as well. When adds despawn, the boss will become dangerous. When the boss is shielded, he will not, or she will not, attack you. But when unshielded, the boss will. That's a important thing to know about this run. That's why when the boss is shielded, you have free reign to roam the map. As long as you've got a plan in place for the adds. I'm just standing here simply because DPS is easier. And the boss will not put up their knockoff attack. The knockback attack, the green thing on the floor, will not proc where I'm standing. Adds have spawned in. Boss is hiding, so I can't do all the damage I want. That's fine. We'll fin the room anyways. Let's pop a Transcendence. Facet of Blessing. Facet of Blessing was good in this run as a substitute for not having knockout. Yeah? So, if you're not running knockout, and you do have a spare fragment slot, and you're still sort of using consecration, but you're not using knockout, then use Facet of Blessing. Facet of Blessing's alright. It's not knockout power, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like an 8 out of 10 thing, and it substitutes something that your build's not doing. We're substituting the build by not running knockout because don't want to run knockout because we're testing the SMG. We're testing a Strand build. Alright, this phase, we're just going to stand here and wait for the unstops because I want to try and shackle them and Drenger's Lash them and such. There's not many adds up because I've cleared them all out. Let's see BARROW Dyad's damage. Can we get unstun damage? Ooh, we can. Good chunk. We're going to Drenger's Lash down to re-stun. This is doing good. This is doing decent, but we have run out of shackle and we've run out of our stuff, so we're going to use super. Because super will stun unstops and kill him, look. Look at how good the super's doing here for us. Notice that green attack. Be careful not to get knocked off map by it. There we go, we're done. 34 minutes in. Performed very good at the boss fight. Restoration was critical for me. It was very good for the close quarter sections. It was a B tier for the Shrieker section. Okay, I was a little annoyed with myself about the Shrieker sections, but other than that, everything else in this GM it was very good for. So if you're up against a CQC GM, like Warden and Offing or something like that, or, you know, a Battleground GM and stuff like that, BARROW Dyad will perform very well in this. So we're just finishing the boss off here. We're going to try and get the kill with BARROW Dyad because that's the theme of the run. Obviously, we're struggling, but we're trying to get our panic response up. But yeah, that was a solo GM with a BARROW Dyad build. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.